want to appreciate that you got the intro right, Aaron from EDM Detailing the Gold Coast. I start every story with that, even if Matt from Fusion doesn't quite pick up on it.
Yeah.
Is it Matt or is it Aaron?
Welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast, the place for everything auto detailing in Australia right now. Here's your host, Dale Guthrie.
G'day and welcome to the Detailing Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Dale Guthrie. As always, here with co-host Joe. Good morning, mate. How are we?
Good morning. Yeah, really, really good, mate.
Good.
Living the dream as always. So yeah, keep them real busy. How
Yep.
about you?
Yeah, no, busy as always. A bit going on.
Yep.
Bit in the aero world these days. So hanging out in airport hangars. That's
Helicopters, eh? Living the
interesting.
high life.
Yeah, it's an interesting world out there. That's for sure. So pretty
Wowzers.
different, but no, it's been a bit of a highlight for the last week. So but yeah, other than that, same, polishing cars here and there, putting some film on soon. Yeah, same. So well, today we've got a really good one. Yeah, been pumped for this one. I think most guys in the industry would know this guy. He's pretty well known on the Insta, and so yeah, really good with his social content. So and another top bloke that works from home. So yeah, let's welcome Aaron from EDM Detailing on the Gold Coast. Good morning, mate.
Morning, guys. How are we going?
Very well.
I want to appreciate that you got the intro right, Aaron from EDM Detailing the Gold Coast. I start every story with that, even if Matt from Fusion doesn't quite pick up on it.
Yeah.
Is it Matt or is it Aaron?
Yeah, Ryan, I think he said.
Right.
Yeah, he called me after and said, "Oh, mate, it was close enough." I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm close enough to the other side of the alphabet," but
Yeah.
it was all good. He's one of those things. He's a good lad anyway.
Yeah. I had to think. I'm like, geez, did I say that or did
No,
Matt
it
say that?
was yeah, that was him. It was him when you were talking about dish soap
Yeah,
slip. So it was it was a good mention. As long as it wasn't a negative mention, then I was absolutely happy
yeah.
days.
Yeah. No, I've seen the story that you posted. That was hilarious. So yeah, no, it's been cool to get you on. We've been following you for a while, and yeah, and I want to really touch on the whole working from home thing as well. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no secret that I do that,
hmm
and you definitely do as well. So, and the service that you offer for what you do. So I think that'd be pretty cool. But as always, we'll probably bit of a backstory of yourself and yeah, where'd you start from and how'd you get here?
Sure. Well, obviously going by the accent, I'm not from here. Born in Northern Ireland, part of the UK. Almost started a detailing business back there when I was early 20s, but one of the other guys who I'm now friends with, he had cornered the market at the time, so he had all the dealer contracts and stuff with Ferrari, and he was getting all the just regular public as well. So I did the whole I'm 20, I have no money, let's get a normal job. Went into IT, etc., etc. Moved to the Gold Coast, stayed in IT until about 3 years ago, and then started the detailing on the side. Did it at weekends for about 18 months, and then did the whole dive into the deep end, quit my job, and I've been full time since 1st of July last year, so about 13 months, just over a year. Mainly because the PPFs where the passion lies, and in order to do PPF, I can't do that at weekends, man. You guys know that. It's even a front end job. I can't do 2 days and then ask them to bring it back next weekend to finish it off. So I thought if I really want to do PPF, regardless of whether I'm ready, the job needs to go. And yeah, it's been an eventful year.
How did you
Wow.
how'd you get into the film? Like, did you do any training? I always like to ask how people.
Yeah, so I did training with Hexus, mainly because it was the closest one to me. I at the time didn't know who Hexus was, but ended up in Yatala. They did a 2 day training with Clayton from Gold Coast Raps and John from Blurred down in Melbourne. They did the 2 day fundamental course. Really great guys. taught me just the basics of like knife cutting and kind of reading some panels. And then from there, bought a roll of matte film and started wrapping my Focus RS because I thought where best to start. Every product I ever use, I always put on my own cars first before I sell it. So spent about 6 weeks driving around like a patchwork quilt of gloss and matte on my Focus RS for a while. But it worked out. Yeah, and then after that, did a friend. My first customer job actually was um, a matte Portimao blue or frozen Portimao blue BMW M4 competition. So I got a roll of Suntech matte for that because I heard that they match BMW pretty well. And that was the first customer job. So I actually did that when I was still full time in my other one. So I had it in for 10 days and just did it from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. for the 10 days or so. And it worked out pretty well. They're actually going to come back in a month or so because they got damage to their bumper. So it's going to be one of the good pieces of content where you can really show what PPF does.
Mm.
I hope anyway. It's always that little bit of like when you go into an exam, you know you're going to do well, but you get a bit of butterflies and you think, has the PPF actually done the job? And I've never seen it not do the job, but there's always that moment of reveal. You kind of go, oh, golly, what I call squeaky bum time.
So from as that one would be your first install, like proper one, it'd be quite interesting to see how far you've come from install with technique and yeah, the quality of it.
Yeah, I think quality, I always like to go, my last job is my worst job, but it's also at the same time, it's the best job I've ever done, and it's the worst job I will ever do going forwards.
Mm.
And yeah, it's been, I'm sure if when I bring it back, I'll be able to see what's good and what's bad. That one was a bulk install as well, because at the time didn't have a plotter, just got the rollout and didn't know how to manually template with cap sheets, just basically winged it. So just kind of pulled out some roll, cut a bit, and hoped that it fit and stretched it out. And so it should be, as you guys know, the biggest fighter is debris when it comes to PPF, and I think I've had quite a few comments on mine because I do it outside or with the garage door open. There was
Yep.
one I did the rear end of a Porsche 911. I did the wing literally with the car sticking out, and it started raining as I was installing it. I thought the video was hilarious, but a couple of people were like, "It's maybe not a good look for PPF." I was like, "Oh, whoopsie."
We were going to touch on all about that stuff. So how you yeah, battle the debris. So
Yeah, it's pretty difficult, but everyone knows it in PPF. Just keep it drenched, man. It's even with the door open, if it's a windy day, if you drench everything all the time, drench my clothes, drench like give the spritz in the air, drench the panels, drench the PPF, then yeah, I would probably lift it up and put it down again a few more times than someone in a confined area. But um, everyone battles it all the time, whether you do battle it more, battle it less. It's an ever present obstacle. It's just one of those things you get through. You guys know that pretty well. Do what you can with the tools that you've got until you can improve them. And realistically, if I get into a big shop or have a dedicated PPF booth, etc., then this kind of my life right now will put me in very, very good stead for that when I have less to battle.
mm.
So I enjoy it. It's stressful, draining, satisfying, exciting, horrifying. It's everything. It's everything.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I
Um,
wanted to ask you a question. How did you go from part-time to full-time? What was that transition like? Because we often hear that's the biggest hurdle for people stepping out of not receiving that weekly wage that they know they're going to get to then stepping into full-time and it's all on them now. There's no security.
Yeah, it actually feels like I took a lot longer to do that than I did. So it feels like I was doing part-time for 3 years and like I felt like I was taking too long to do it. But when I look back, I think it was 15 or 16 months after my first paid coating customer is when I did that. And like I say, it got to the point I was getting very jaded with my job. For all intents and purposes, I worked in IT. It was extremely well paid. I was good enough at it that I was doing 2 hours of work a day, but I was putting 8 hours in my timesheet because I could do that. Um, Probably shouldn't say that out loud, but I had to be at the computer for 8 hours a day, and I got very jaded with it. Hated everything about it. It was
Yeah.
almost too easy and mind numbing, and I was just constantly thinking about the detailing and the detailing, and then eventually went, right, if I'm gonna do PPF, then that's the big thing I can't do part time, and that's really where my passion lies, is the paint protection film. So um, yeah, I had a meeting with my boss and basically just said I'm going to leave in 4 weeks. So for about 9 years, I only ever took 1 or 2 weeks off. So I took quit on the in the middle of May 24, and then took about well, the plan was to take 6 weeks and then start on the 1st of July. But whenever I quit, I ended up doing 3 or 4 front end jobs in that May, June. And then, but my official start date as such for full time was 1st of July. So really it was, yeah, there's never a right time, there's never a wrong time. And when you eventually do it, you'll always wish that you did it sooner.
Mm.
But I think it was, can't change what happened. I'm pretty pleased with where it was after being about 15, 16 months into the business. And then, yeah, we're now 15, 16 months later, and it's wild.
Yeah. So how did you get your name out there? So you're obviously in IT, you sound like you're good at it. Did that aid you? Did you yeah, IT doesn't necessarily mean online marketing, but
No,
yeah.
man. My IT business or my IT background is projects, so I do all of the domains, the email setups and stuff like that. Like, still to this day, when I get an email from a business and it's a business@gmail.com, it really grinds my gears. I want to reply and be like, if you need me to set you up a domain and email, I will do it because it
I'll
looks a lot
apologize in
better.
advance.
Oh, I haven't even seen yours, man. Oh my.
Don't
Um,
look, don't look.
but yeah, it's yeah, that's where it came from. It didn't really help with the marketing and stuff. How I got my name out there, I honestly couldn't even tell you, man. Like, it's mostly paid ads, I think, but my website is very, very good for me now. I finally invested in that last year. Wish I'd done it 8 months sooner because it's still bringing in. It paid for itself in the space of about a month and a half. And full transparency, I got it from Detailer's Roadmap in the United
Oh yeah,
States.
Oh, yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So it costs. They are not cheap.
No.
But like the price of their website over 2 years, because you do it monthly, was paid for pretty much almost outright by the Ferrari 458 that I got in, which was because of the website. So at that point you go, well, immediately that's exactly what I wanted it for. But
Yeah.
as for getting the name out there, you try and do word of mouth, paid ads and things, and then just like I mentioned earlier, the daily stories on Instagram, that tends to help a bit. That actually helps me more than my actual feed posts. I get a lot more engagement on the explore pages from my stories for some reason. I'm not really sure. I don't know how all that works, man. If I did, I'd have 40,000 followers. I wouldn't have two, which I'm very, very grateful for having at the minute.
Yeah. Do you feel you get more interaction with other detailers as well through your stories? Like people going, thanks for that tip, or you're doing it wrong. I do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost get daily comments from Mr. Riverside. But his is it's all in jest for the most part. And a lot of stories I put up will be for specific people because I know it's a topic they'll want to comment on. So I will actually make it and mention them or do it in a way that does provoke them. I do get a lot of I try to make it educational. Like the one I put up yesterday evening was about solution finish. I basically just said, I will fight you if you say a ceramic coating can do the same thing as solution finish when it comes to faded plastics. So I try to be as educational as possible. Someone did reach out and say, "Oh, I must get that and try it." I was like, "Happy days," and let me know how you go. Because if I say something and it's wrong or it doesn't work for someone, I want to know because if it works for me, it doesn't necessarily mean it works for someone else.
Mm.
And even yesterday, I mentioned about Body Shop's resprays and stuff, and I mentioned them blending the clear coat into the next panel, and then Ash from Riverside commented saying, "No, no, that's wrong." And then he told me from his painting background what exactly they do, and I went, "Oh, happy days." So this morning I'll be posting his reply, I think, on my story to be like, look, I said X, I was wrong. We're all better for it now, and everyone knows a bit better. But yeah, the detailers obviously see the stories a lot more, but it's surprising how many um, general public or people interested in detailing or in the sphere of looking for that kind of job do see the stories specifically. And then obviously some of the reels, if you get I don't know if you post at the right time with the right hashtag and the right combination of letters. I don't know. I don't know how that works, man. I've got one video and I think my Facebook videos normally get about 300 views. And then I had one, it was on the, do you know the triangular bit on the back of the new Prados where the button is to open the window on the rear?
Yeah.
Like that tiny triangle. I put that up. It was 10 seconds and legit on Facebook, I every video had a maximum of 300 views. And then that one, I think, over the space of 4 days, went to one like 1.6 million. And I have no idea what happened. No idea.
Toyota jumped on it.
I think I got like 3,000 followers on Facebook from that one video, and I'm like, I don't know,
Jeez.
all of that. I would love to know how the algorithms work.
Yeah.
But I think Mr. Expel in Western Australia, he's
He's
cracked
good.
it pretty well. Yeah, very, very good, man. He's a
Mm,
lovely guy.
yeah.
And for social media, he's smashing the absolute crap out of it. It's very, very cool to see.
Mm. How do you go with? We had this discussion recently about Facebook, about your market with Facebook. Joe and mine market are the same. We get a lot of traction with Facebook compared to sort of if you're in Melbourne, Instagram's probably the way to go, or Sydney or whatever. Like, how do you find the
Oh,
difference between
interesting.
both?
Interesting. I hadn't heard of like the bigger cities being better for Instagram and stuff. For me, Facebook, I'm changing the ads. Literally today, I'm going to be doing a bunch of voiceovers for new ads because at the moment, my ads on Facebook are showing a one-step polish on a couple of cars. So you see the swirls before, you don't see them after. As a result, but from there, it's actually saying, what do you want, ceramic coating or PPF? But I'm showing a polish. So I get a lot of 2004 Holden Commodores, 1998 Suzuki Grand Vitaras, and they go, I want a ceramic coating. And you go, cool, it's 1,500 bucks. And they go, oh, I thought it would be 300. So my Facebook audience is uh, absolute trash, but that's more so the ads that I have at the moment and that's why I'm changing them up. The Google ones are pretty good for me because they're set specifically just for coatings and whatever. So I had to have to tweak the Facebook one. So the audience is rubbish for me, but it's I get a lot more leads through it, but they are a lot lower quality leads,
Mm.
mostly because of the actual video that's being presented. I'm showing the polish, which is 500-600 bucks, but then I'm saying get a coating and adding a whatever
So
price on
you could
top.
kind of say it's you're shooting yourself in your foot a little bit.
Exactly.
To be brutally honest. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
100%. And it's been like that for a while. And I even stopped the ads for a while. And then about 6 weeks ago, messaged my ads guy and said, we need to change it up. And he went, cool. And he got these videos made and ready to go. And I still haven't changed them up because I've been so busy. So that's why today is podcast day plus voiceovers for new ads, admin stuff. And then we're hopefully getting the quality of leads that I should have because we're doing the right kind of content and the right setup for it.
yeah, that's good because it's one of those things where if we're doing something like that and then we're getting leads from potential customers we don't want, then it's like, well, it's not their fault. It's our fault for sending those messages, and so they're now ringing up because they want a shiny car, not necessarily to protect it, just like your videos show. And I find like for me, I never market me doing washing a car. Like, because I know the moment I put, photos or content up of me washing a car or even vacuuming a car, I'm gonna get a lot of leads for like, oh, I just want a basic clean, and I don't want to do them. I want to do if I'm gonna detail your car, I want to do the whole damn thing, full inside and out, like $600
100%.
minimum sort of thing. So I wanted to ask you a question. How do you find um like a lot of PPF businesses have at least, if I can say, like at least a shed, or he's like like Dale. He's got a nice shed behind his house or on the side of his house. I have something like that too. I know other details that I can just think of at the top of my mind, like Super Fresh in Capalaba, Brisbane. Um, and yourself is in your two-car garage, and I've detailed my two-car garage when I was growing my detailing business, and no shame in that. But what's the perception from customers? Because I'm just thinking a lot of Gold Coast businesses would be shop based if they're offering PPF. But you're just in a nice little area, Varsity Lakes, a little cul-de-sac, I think it is, like a little dead end street. Like what do people think? Because I'm gonna end this real quick, but like because people, other details could be like, oh, surely people won't be able to trust that guy, like because he's working from home, and surely he wouldn't be doing a good job. People wouldn't want to trust him. But then I think like, well, maybe people like going to someone's house because they might feel like they actually can trust them more because they're more vulnerable because you are working from home. So, or am I just going too deep?
No, you're pretty much right with almost everything you said. I will flick
Oh,
back a
damn.
little bit. I'll flick back a smidge to where you mentioned the interiors and not posting that kind of stuff. Yesterday I
Sure.
did a pre-sale on a car, and I don't do interiors. I've curated the business to the point where honestly I've got no interest in it. So, and I didn't create a business to do stuff I'm not interested in. So I will do it, and I can do them very well. I'm not Tropics Detailing and Riverside quality, because I literally yesterday's was the second interior I've done in 2025. And I think I curated it being side hustle initially. I wanted to start out with coatings, that was, and the polishing, the aesthetics and the protections where I wanted to go. But yeah, when you come to the PPF part, it's working from home. Most people go with Google reviews, so they'll see the reviews and go, I wasn't. I've had it numerous times where they go, I wasn't going to come to you because you work from home. But then I saw the reviews and I saw the cars that you've done. Like the Ferrari one, for example, is it's had like 5,000 views on that review.
Yeah,
And
wow.
what I've found recently is Google reviews are cool, but if you can get the customer to add photos to the Google review, it blows that to the moon. So, like thinking about it, every car you do, everyone's gonna or put a Google review saying shiny car is shiny, car looks
Yeah.
brand new. But if you throw a photo up of the car, whether it be a Mazda CX-3 or a Ferrari 458 or a Mercedes V-Class van that I matte wrapped, that at least shows the person, oh, look at how good the car does look. So the Google reviews really helps with the working
Awesome.
from home, but a lot of people do, again, like you mentioned, they'll say, "Oh, I don't like big corporations and whatever." A few people have come to me saying they had detailers that were good in the past, but they're so big now that the quality control has gone down. So they like the one-man band.
Yeah.
Ultimately, my goal is not to stay as a one-man band, but in the meantime, my mantra essentially is quality over quantity. Even if it's a Tesla, I'll book it in for 7 days for PPF, even though it's not required, but it gives me enough time. I'd rather take the extra time to do that than throw three coatings in at the same time just to get a bit extra cash through the door. And I think that resonates through with the work. It's all about customer experience. If they come and visit me or whatever and they commit to the job, then afterwards there's nobody has regretted coming to a garage with yeah, with me working from there. It's a big question I get a lot of security. How do you keep the car secure? I'm like, oh, my vehicles stay outside. I have two motorbikes and a classic mini, and for as much as it kills me, they live outside essentially because the customer car security takes priority. So I've got security cameras everywhere and whatever. So it works out pretty well. I'm in a very, very nice area, like you mentioned. It's very, very safe, very, very quiet, things like that. So yeah. Oh, let me get rid of that. Sorry, guys. But yeah, working from home, it's great. Has pros, has its cons, but customers tend to respond pretty well to it. I've had one person who heard I said on the phone, "Work from home garage," and he went, "Never mind, I've got it sorted," and just hung up the phone. And that
You don't
was
want him anyway.
well, that's the thing. I don't even know what car he had. And the funniest thing was that was about 3 days after I booked the Ferrari in for PPF at my home garage. So it was really weird. Like you get that a level of trust from that level of car, and then someone I don't know what car they had, and they just went, "No, thank you," boom. And I'm like, that's fair. It's not for everyone. But yeah, a lot of people don't really care about the perception of being in a
Mm.
giant shop or being wherever, as long as they read the reviews, they see the pictures in the reviews, they see the Instagram, etc. And then once they experience it, I think they tend to go, happy days, it was well worth it. And by all means, I am not cheap. Compared to Gold Coast shops, like people that run shops, I am more expensive for coatings and more expensive for a lot of PPF jobs than shop owners. And people go, oh, your overheads are less, it should cost less. I'm not really, I'm not really in that. I refuse to take part in the race to the bottom, which I'm sure
Yeah.
you're well aware of is occurring across the detailing industry.
That's
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
good to hear that you are. Yeah, the whole race to the bottom thing, it's pretty it's a big topic at the moment. So
Yeah.
that's that's good that you're keeping your prices up. So and that's good
Yeah.
as well with yeah, the perception of if you do read the reviews, see you're online, oh yeah, he does work from home. So be it. Who cares?
Mm.
I
Yeah,
know
it's
what
it's nice that people do that. It's some people will still scoff at it, and that's perfectly fine. Like if I'm driving along and I see um the name of a business on a really ratty 25-year-old Hiace and the decals are all scrubbed off and stuff.
Mitsubishi Express.
Yeah, yeah, sorry. That's right. I would look at that and go, oh, I don't know if I want to use that business. But then if I went and looked them up, I'm going to remember it because it looked so terrible. But if I look it up and the reviews are amazing, then that immediately makes me go, cool. Like it doesn't
Yep.
really matter how they look or how it is presented, as long as the end result is exactly what you want and
Yeah.
what you expect. That's really what I wish everyone concentrated on, but yeah, big thing is I think the biggest obstacle is pricing of stuff more than not owning a shop. It's definitely
Yeah.
I lose a lot more business from prices than I do from working from home.
Yeah. It is a real challenging situation because like there's so many different examples where you have businesses where they're mobile. They're in a ratty old Mitsubishi Express van. The signage has become one with the car. They don't have a uniform, yet they're flat out so busy. And it's like, does anyone give a rip about this? Like, I'm just like, you could maybe be more busier if you had a nicer looking car or you just washed it for once. Maybe wear a uniform. Um, and maybe actually get a website or a Google location, like you know what I mean? Like they have no website. Um, and so I don't know, sometimes I'm like, is it just industry specific? Because when it comes to you, like, do you mow your front lawn? Does your lawn look nice at your house?
Uh, it looks fine. I generally am busy enough that I can't mow it, but like
Yeah.
you'll rock up and the classic mini sits on the lawn because I need to get it
Yeah.
out of the way. The Focus RS sits on the curb, because it's in the way.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, you wouldn't know driving down the street that there's a business here, apart
Yeah.
from the fact that there's just constantly X amount of vehicles outside it. But like a lot of people rock up and go, you're super busy, but reality is I have one customer car and then I personally have five vehicles, which isn't it? So there's six vehicles there. One's my partner's, four are mine, and then one's the customer. So I'm like, oh, at least it looks busy.
Yeah,
Um,
because I wonder if like if you had five cars there, but they were all ratty old cars, like one's jacked up, one's missing an engine, and your grass is fully overgrown, your house is run down, you got overhanging branches, someone rocking up with a Ferrari. I wonder, would they keep driving?
I
Like
think
just do a UE and because I think they probably would. Like yeah,
at that point I'd say yeah, probably. Like my
but they probably
biggest
wouldn't have come to you in the first place if
Yeah, well, at
if
that
they
point,
hadn't
my
known that.
pictures aren't going to look as good on Google
That's right.
reviews and Instagram.
Yeah, yeah,
Granted, like, and it's a real pain point to my fiance. The backgrounds of my videos is the garage, and like I mentioned, Dale's doesn't look like it is, but mine very much does. I have pieces of material I can flick down in front of the tools and whatever, but I'm using them all so much that it's just open and it looks messy,
Mm.
but it's all also the reality of what it is. I'm not here to be that Instagram guy where everything's
yeah.
perfect. It's just yeah, what you see is what you get.
And
And
and does that attract the customers that you want though? And it probably does. It probably attracts people that aren't really caring about. if you have 20 hexagon lights and like you have the floating floor like I do and all those fancy things, and therefore they're probably going to be, and this is just hypothetical here, maybe they're going to be easier to deal with because they're, you know what I mean? They're not going to be caught up in all the,
The
all the
glitz and the glamour.
glitz and the
It's
glamour. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Like it actually could be a blessing in disguise. And because they're seeing you as this is just a guy that's having a really good go. He's got great reviews. He's not the prettiest and like glammy, kind of shot, but mate, he does great work. I want to go to him. I think there's something there to take away.
Mhm.
That it doesn't need to be like we're saying, like doesn't need to be a big shop and have all the fancy stuff. And this is coming from someone who had a shop, and did have hexagon lighting.
Mhm.
um, but it's also where like it also you got to factor in where you are, and the kind of customers you want. And you're doing a great job there. So I think you're definitely doing something right. So if anyone's hating on you, it's like, well, who's the one laughing here? And I think it's kind of you, and not not in a bad way, not to rubbish other people, but yeah, you're doing a really good job. I hope that makes sense to people. I'm just trying to like figure out the why, like why people wanted to come to you, and even if you are on the because you're on the Gold Coast, you're
I
not in a
know.
small town like I am.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like this, I'm in a town of 7,000 people. You got 7,000 people on your damn beaches. Like so,
I think we have 7,000
different.
detailers.
Yeah, well, there you go. So,
Uh,
yeah, I
but
hope
yeah,
that
I
makes
think
sense to people.
yeah, and I think you're right where the customers, it's a weird one where they would probably see the setup and go, "Oh, he's probably not that expensive." So I think that lends itself as well, though. If it doesn't look that pretty, people might think it's cheap, but then if they're looking for that, they don't come to me. And if people don't mind the price and don't mind the look of it, it kind of weeds out both ends. So if
Yeah.
someone's really high strung and needs it to be the prettiest shop in the world, I don't think I really want that as a person as a customer. And if
Yep.
someone's here to get a $700 ceramic coating, I don't really want that person as a customer. So my
Yep.
setup at the moment does kind of weed everyone out that I'm getting this nice little clientele that aren't a pest. Um, like I don't need to I do panic when I'm doing handovers of PPF, but that's because I'm still pretty new to it. And as you guys would know, the longer when you finish the job, the longer you have the car between finishing and handover, the more stuff you spot. And then the more you go, oh my God, will they? Oh my goodness, are they going to spot that and be annoyed? Do I have to redo this and do I have to redo that and whatever? My customers are all really, really great people. They just tend to be people, I've just bought a new car for the first time in 10 or 12 years. I really want the best for it. And I think a lot of it plays in Google reviews obviously help, but I think the way I present my Instagram, just with the daily updates and stuff is, and trying to be educational. Like you'll never find me saying, PPFs, this and that, contact me now for a quote. I always say contact your local detailer, and if it's me,
Yeah,
cool. But
cool.
if you're in Sydney, I'll go on to a lot of Facebook groups and say, message me because I know quite a lot of people in the industry around Australia. If you're in Sydney, let me know and I'll tell you who I would recommend, or at least to contact and get information. Because I've had a lot of help to get where I am now, and I want to spend my time paying back as much as I receive. I'm never, like you said, not to you don't want to rubbish anybody. There's so many cars on the road or being purchased every day that there's no need to step on someone to get food on the table. Everyone's got enough work, and I think ultimately, if you're a nice guy or just nice to people, which is not hard to do, although some people make it look that way, you're going to do well and you're going to benefit from that. And then your customers and other industry peers will also benefit from that and stuff like that. So that's how I kind of try to operate it. But with the customers, I'm getting the ones that suit me. And I think it's
That's good.
because just of how I present myself on Instagram, which is very much like I say, you're either going to like it or you're not, but I'm going to have a good time making the content. And like as you say, if someone hates on me for it, but they still follow me on Instagram, they're still a fan.
Mm. And I
That's
think
awesome, man.
on this chat as well, I think they're coming for you to get the work done by you. Like they're coming, yeah, they don't care about the big flashlights or anything
Yeah,
or
that's right.
not, but I think they're just coming, they've seen your posts, your stories. They're like, that guy needs to work on my car.
Yeah, and you get a lot of people where I think I mentioned to you, Dale, just prior to starting, I'm all about people do business with people. They don't deal with businesses. So from my point of view, the products that I use, I think that I am more important to that brand than that brand is to me. And I think you are more important to the brands that you use than the brands are to you. That's how I believe it, because when you get to PPF and coatings, they all offer the same warranty. They all offer the same longevity. They're all
Yeah.
85% the same construction. So does the brand matter? No. And I spend a lot of time telling customers if they say to me on the phone, what brand of film or what brand of coating do you use? I'll say to them, look, for your coating, I have, if you want a 5 year or a 10 year, I use two or three different versions of each, and it's going to depend on the humidity on the coast at the day, the weather on the day, the color of your car, the paintwork of your car, the make of your car. It's all going to depend because I want my job to be as stress-free and easy as possible. So I'm going to select the coating that's going to do that for me. And as a result, you're going to get the best quality result for it because I'm not here tearing my hair out, running around in circles, chasing my tail. And then a lot of people go, "Oh, that's excellent. Thanks for the information." They may then leave, but a lot of them do then go, "That's really, really good to know." And I say, at the end of it, you're getting your 5 year warranty, your 10 year warranty. Does the brand matter? To me, not really. Some people really love it, and that's perfectly fine. I'll say, "Cool. I know an XPEL or a Bush Wraps installer. Go to this person and have a chat to them," because I'm not, like I say, I don't tend to gatekeep or try not to gatekeep anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
always
that's
said
good.
brands shouldn't dictate how you run your business. I've said that before, but
Absolutely.
yeah. And that's interesting with your coatings because I have seen you've been testing a few and using a few, and I know from experience with not having a aircon system or a heater, dealing with coatings and humidity, especially with the door open, would be a drama up on the Gold Coast.
Correct, yeah, and that's why I moved away from Ceramic Pro, which I still think is an amazing coating, and the guys running it are great in Australia, and I love the product, but I think my opinion is that it hasn't been re-engineered in quite a while. Like you have 10-year coatings now that you can put on even in a humid day and leave it for 3, 4, 5 minutes and wipe it off like butter. For example, Blask that I use at the moment, unbelievable coating. I forgot. I was doing part of a car last week and I did the wing and I forgot about it and went back literally 15 years later or 15 minutes later. And this is on their 10-year coating and just wiped it off like it was on about 15 seconds. So stuff like that. I think Ceramic Pros may not have been re-engineered because it's very humidity dependent as to how easy it is.
Mm.
And because I do so much PPF now, I want that to be the primary job, which means, and you guys know it's mentally draining. You concentrate so hard all the time on PPF, that I want coatings to be easy as pie, bread and butter in and out. And to do that, I need a coating that works, which is why I started testing a number of different ones to see which ones are easy to work with so that I can spend more of the mental energy on PPF and stuff like that. And like I say, any maintenance customer I get with Ceramic Pro on it, I haven't put any toppers on them in the last 2 or 3 years because the coating is performing so well. I think just if it was easier to apply, then I would still be using it. That's basically what it comes down to. But nowadays, it's very hard to find a coating that does a bad job. Um, you
Yeah.
guys know it's the installer that does it. I can make a 10-year coating last 3 months if I do a really terrible prep job, but I can help you last it 13, 14 years if we do annual top ups and you're constantly using the right methods and safe chemicals, etc. So it's a it all blends into full customer experience. I will tell everyone who calls me all the information they ever need to go somewhere else and get a better deal. But that's just transparency is pretty much the key to my business.
Yeah, that coating you just mentioned, I've seen a few people been using that one now, that blast.
Blask, yeah,
Yeah.
it's I think it's Korean. It's an interesting one. I didn't know much about them until they kind of popped up here. But do you know, is it Sung Kang? I think his name is Han from Fast and Furious. He's an ambassador of their brand. They are partners with Liberty Walk, the wide body kit manufacturer. That so
Mhm.
Blasker in Korea they have a 3 year coating, and they will apply that free of charge every 6 months to your car if you get the 5 year or the 10 year coating. So they're just throwing that thing out like it's a sealant. I was like, that's insane. Obviously, they're paying less for it because it's manufactured there as well. But it's a very, very interesting, and they look like magic potions, man. Every time you post something,
Yeah,
people
looks
reply and
cool.
go, "What on earth is that?" And you go, "Yeah, it's like laying down the potion." Because normally you say laying down the sauce, but not potions, and people are like, "Oh my God, look at it!" So aesthetically, they've done a very, very good job in just being different. Because like you look at any other coating bottle, they're all the same shape,
Mm.
What
same
what's it
size.
called? Blast.
Yeah, a Blask,
Oh,
With a K.
Blask. Yeah.
Yeah, cool looking bottles and colors.
Very cool.
Yeah. What's the colors difference? Because no one's been on here talking about that brand yet.
So green is 7-Eleven. I think that's their 3 year. And then
Oh
you
yeah.
have the red, which is five, is that 5-7? Can't remember what that one is. Five something. That's the 5 year. And then you've got pink-ish, which is
huh.
seven 752. I think that's the 10 year. So green is three, red is five, and pink is pinky purpley kind of is 10.
Yeah, I
And
think.
then they have blue for glass and yellow or gold for leather.
Hmm.
I'm actually just looking at it now. It looks
Yeah,
pretty
brilliant.
awesome. It's um Reno, Australia, who
Hmm.
provide window film.
And
Is that
UPPF, same, all
yeah,
the same
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
umbrella.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I know
But
their
I
window tint's good. Do you use their film? Do you use the window tint film? Because you did tinting too. We hadn't even touched on that.
no, I
Oh.
actually do, I offer the tinting now. I can tint, but with it comes down to back to the interiors kind of thing with how long it takes me and how little my interest levels are with it.
Yeah.
It's not feasible for me to do it. And I'd rather be at that point, if I keep doing the interiors and the window film and all that stuff, I don't want to become a jack of all trades, master of none. My
Yeah.
passion lies in paint corrections, coatings, PPF. That's what I want to excel at all times. So I partner up with a tint shop and basically get a better deal for the customer. If they get a coating
Yeah,
and
good.
tint through me, it costs less than if they get tint individually from there. And it works out pretty well. So it's actually Black Armor is the tint film that's used, I guess, in my business, but that's what the tint shop use. But Reno, I think Blask is actually owned by Reno. It's all over their United States
Yeah.
website as well. Uh, so I think it's the same umbrella company.
Yep. I know Black Armor, is that by PFD? Is that what was that their name? Tinting shop in Brisbane. Maybe they're all over the place now.
Not too sure, man. I don't even
Okay.
know.
Okay, cool. No, that's cool. Cool, cool. That's awesome. How far booked out are you, generally speaking?
Uh, it fluctuates. So as of, well, 2 weeks ago, it was I only had 1 week of August booked, but now it's the end of August, started September. And then
Gee.
if everyone who seemed keen, I class a customer as keen if I mention the price and we still continue a conversation, because at that point they haven't been turned off by that. So if everyone who's keen, or seems keen would pay a deposit, then you're talking mid-October. But that's as you guys know, unless if there's no deposit, there's no job. That's it.
So you
I'm
have a lot of
still
people not keen on paying a deposit?
a lot of people that disappear when you say deposit, but a lot
Yes.
more people disappear when you mention the price in general. So the ones that get once you mention price,
Just
if they
money.
reply and say, yeah, if they reply and say cool, okay, I'll think about dates and whatever, I'm like cool. That's someone who seems keen. But I like I say, I'm early on enough that when someone gets to that point, I go, oh my goodness, here's three more jobs I've got booked out or potentially. But I'm slowly learning that that excitement needs to be kept under wraps. Once the deposit comes in, you go happy days. I can
Yeah.
officially get excited, but until that point, I'm looking like if I have four potential full body PPS, I'm like, oh my God, that's a whole month of work. But then it gets to the week beforehand, there's no deposit. You go, holy moly, I have no work. So I'm still early enough that I'm like a little kind of schoolgirl, get really excited about people maybe being interested. Um, but yeah, it's at the minute at end of August, and then I've got one guy. He's waiting on his car being delivered to Mercedes before he gives me a date. But that'll be first week of September, I think.
Uh,
Awesome.
Film wise, I think we were talking early about the brand you use and the software. What are you been running?
Yeah, so I use Terminax, or the film is Terminax, which is UPPF. That's their new kind of premier sub brand as such. And then software wise, I actually have started more using Terminax's software now, but primarily 98% of my cuts are done with Yink, which is the plotter that I have. So got them direct from the manufacturer rather than buying from an Australian middleman, etc. Did that purely because their plotter cost me 5 grand or 6 grand instead of a Graphtex, what, 13, 14 now, I think. At the time, I didn't have the money for that, so I went, I'll buy this one, and if it gets me in the door and pays itself back, and then I can get a Graphtech or a big brand, then cool. But now we're, what is it, 12 months on and probably 35 cars cut, and working like day one. Haven't even changed the first blade, and I've got 5 more blades. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. And even with their methods from kind of the olden days in China, their ancestors, I have my machine grounded in a. I don't have any fancy mats or anything. I've got a 5 liter jug of water with a full carton of table salt in it, and the wire goes straight into that. So it cost me 75 cents to get my grounding sorted out in the machine, and it works absolutely perfect.
Oh, wow.
Well, never heard of that one.
Yeah, neither had I, because I said to them, look, I'm looking at grounding mats and they're about $800. Do you have anything? And they sent a video of what they did, and I was like, oh, so I popped around to my local Aldi, got a tape 750 gram thing of table salt for 75 cents, popped it in water, shoved the wire in there. And yeah, static hasn't, I know Graphtex are notorious for blowing parts with static, and
I've
I've
heard
had
that.
absolutely zero, yeah, I've had zero issues with mine. The screen on it, if there's too much static, the screen will go white sometimes where the touch buttons are, but the machine itself works fine. You click a button and it resets the screen and just continue on. But I've learned that I only feed through a couple of meters at a time and then kind of blow it off or whatever. Just hit it with some air to get rid of the static, and then it tends to minimize it. It's all about the preparation of that to keep the plotter intact, I think. But yeah, for what it is, um, they actually posted, I think, me on their Instagram, and anytime someone from Australia contacts Yink, they basically send them straight to me. So I think there's been about 7 or 8. I've actually got 2 guys in California to buy a Yink plotter of all places, because Yink just saying I'm like their global partner or something. I don't know. I just get random messages from people every few months saying, "Oh, you own this plotter." I'm like, "Yep, here's a link to this video I did with," and it shows it working. Like it's legit. Takes a while to get here, and you have the panic of it being on the boat, but yeah, it worked out perfect for me. And if it were to die, I'd probably just buy another one. To be honest, I don't think I'll
Mm.
go for the big brands because it does everything I need and more.
You can buy two for one.
Almost 3, yeah.
Yeah. How plans for the future with the are you planning on staying home for longer or upgrading anything or just chip away or bigger shop?
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking at shops. I would love to by the end of the year, the calendar year, December time have one, but that I'm still battling the whole I want to have 2, 3 months of consistently booked out work to know that if I commit to that, I've got the overhead and whatever. But I think as a business owner, there's always dry spells, so I'm never going to have that. Same with when do you commit to going full time from quitting your job? When do you commit to a shop? It's just going to be a when I feel that it's right. I don't think there's a right and a wrong time. I can't scale until I get it. So I find that if I get a PPF job in, I could fit a coding job in that week as well, which brings in itself would pay for a shop. But I don't do it a lot now because I've only got space for one car.
Mm.
So it's kind of the plan is to get one. As for when, I don't really know. I'm just trying to recoup the initial 12 months cost of starting a job, or starting a business, and then from that, once I start going into the positive, we'll start considering a shop. But on the Gold Coast, I think I mentioned a little bit at the start, it's very, very expensive for commercial space up here, being such a vanity centric city. It's a lot of the new builds for commercial spaces are build as man caves. So bring in your pool tables and put your bikes here. Bring your friends over for beers. And because of that, even though it's still four concrete walls and a floor, it costs 12 or 1,500 bucks a week instead of 700 for a normal commercial warehouse. Just purely from the way they're advertising it.
Mm.
So battling with that, but we'll get there. It's part of the plan. I don't want to work from home forever. Um, but I'm comfortable where I am. It's pretty good for building the brand name anyway, and shop eventually, and then we'll see where we go from there.
Um, our recent podcast with me and Joe talking about film and or PPF. So, how would you describe your entry into it and the cost of it all? Like we touched on it a fair bit, but it's cool to have someone else's perspective on it that's just sort of started out into it.
Yeah, so I heard a lot before I did start, be willing to lose 20 or spend 20, 30K in the first year. I didn't thankfully lose that amount, but I think I'm in my mid 30s starting out the job. I think a lot of it comes to I've got a relatively sensible head on my shoulders, regardless of how my Instagram stories make me out to be. So I think about a lot of that stuff. I take That's why I take my time, even if it's a Tesla, which are relatively easy to wrap. I'll do it for 7 days so that I can minimize my risk. So I haven't redone a lot of stuff or lost any money from PPF in the first year, but it's not for the faint-hearted. You have to be interested in it in order to do it. Same with, I think, window tint, which is why I don't do it. You have to really knuckle down, spend X amount of weeks or months concentrating solely on that and forego other methods of income that work. Like I would push coatings off, which are easy done and it's relatively easy money. I would push them off for a few weeks to just knuckle down with PPF and really start honing the skills. But that's where I think you really lose money as such, because you're spending more time doing something you're not very good at, and in order to get good at it, you have to spend time doing it. But I wouldn't change anything. I would recommend everyone to get into PPF, but if your personal interest isn't there, the learning curve is not going to be enjoyable. I personally love it, like I say, but it's yeah, it's a great thing. It's just not for everybody, I think.
Mm. No, that's good. All right. Any more from you, Joe?
No, I was just thinking like how you say you love it. Like it really does sound like you genuinely do. And for you to be doing the types of jobs you do on your own, you must really do love it.
Oh, I do, man. Like it's I think all that plays into what the customers get as well. Like I end up talking to customers after the job more about their businesses and their lives than I do their cars even. But like I love the whole process of getting the lead in, doing the job, chatting to them, finding out what brought them to me, like why this car, why do you want to protect this car, and why do you want PPF or not, etc. But PPF itself, like to me, I'm all about the protection of cars. That's personally why I don't do vinyl.
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, the only protection vinyl gives you is UV, which is what ceramic coatings do. It's going to give a little bit for impact resistance, but if a stone is going to rip your vinyl, it's probably going to chip your paint. And yeah, PPF is. I've always loved cars and bikes as well. Actually, I own a couple of them, so if I can protect them to the best of my ability for people that love them as much as I do, then that's where it all comes in. It's a full circle of every day I get to do what I love. Some days you wonder why, but most days you finish up and go, give me more. So today's a day off with not being on a car, but I've got one in tomorrow and I can't wait to get stuck into it. So it's kind of yeah, lucky to live the life that I have at the moment, and I'm glad that I took that leap. A lot of people don't, and I would just encourage anyone thinking about it to absolutely go, be very headstrong and just absolutely go for it because you don't get stuff given to you. You have to work for what you get. And as long as
Yeah.
you're nice to everyone on the way, that's a big thing for me is just be nice to people. You get a lot of people in our industry or every industry that will step on others. And I'm a big advocate for I've been helped a lot by other people with techniques, products, etc. So I'll always try and give back.
Yeah.
And just be nice to people. It's very easy. You guys do a very good job of it. I think I attract that kind of person. So everyone I talk to in the industry is similar. Everyone's very open. A lot of transparency, not a lot of gatekeepers, which is good. And if there are, I don't know them, but I think it's probably better that way. Wouldn't have much to talk about at that point.
That's good to hear,
Yeah.
mate.
That's awesome. Well, we've got a few questions here, just a couple more of our 5-stage ones we normally finish up on.
Cameron.
First detailing job. Can you remember that one?
Yes, that was I can't remember the year, but it was a Peugeot, was it a 406 wagon? It was kind of a brownie color. It was a ceramic coating job. That was my first ever one, and second was a BYD Atto 3, which were just released a couple of months prior. So that was in October 2022, I think was my first paid job. Um, yeah, little Peugeot, or big Peugeot actually. It was actually really fun to work on.
I've never heard Peugeot said like that before. I say Peugeot, but who am I? Like, I'm just a country bunkin. So
Oh, look, I'm not French either, man. Maybe I'm wrong.
we're both right. Let's just roll
Yeah,
with that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
say it however you want. As long as you know what I'm trying to say or you understand, that's a big thing for me with my accent is I'm just glad we didn't get talking about floor tiles because
Yeah.
I say tile or tile and people are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like drying tiles. People are like, but you put a tile on the floor. I'm like, oh God, here we go. Uh, yeah, as long as you know I meant Peugeot or whatever, absolutely
Yep.
happy days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So good.
you just wouldn't want to own one.
Ah, no, probably not.
Do you have a dream car or
Peugeot.
Yeah.
Well, I've worked on one of them. Dream car to own or dream car to work on?
Uh,
Own.
probably own. Yeah, that's what
Okay,
she's based.
Porsche GT3 Touring specifically. 992 would be great, but I would love a 991 or a 991.2. That's the absolute dream car. Preferably Miami blue or crayon, but ultimately I'm probably going to grab some color PPF and slap it over it.
Expel's got a new Miami blue out. They've just released that one.
I saw that they finally did. They're much like very like Apple in the PPF sphere. They bring it out 5 years after everyone, a feature, and
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh my God, look at this!" You're like, "Oh." Like cool and all. Like Miami
Yeah.
Blue's been available for many years, but at the same time, they've got the brand to do it, so it's cool that they're
Yeah.
finally doing that.
Mm.
Because I messaged someone, it was Phil from Attention to Detail. When he went to the conference, I messaged him. I saw he was there at Sydney Motorsport Park, and I said, "When are they bringing out colored PPF?" And then he replied with a picture of the Porsche with all the stripes on it, and just said, "You mean this?" And I was like, "Finally, they're bringing that out." It's good to see them in that game finally because they had was it gloss, matte, and black until then.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying it's mainly primary colors, or it's only a handful of solid colors?
Yeah, they're all got their story, so they're all based on a car. Like so, the Miami blue with the Porsche color. They've got the Ferrari red and gloss. They got an army one. They're like relatable to actual car colors
Very
from back
cool.
in the day. Yeah.
Symbolic.
Yeah,
Yep.
Mm.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's not just. I think I said last time. It's not just sparkly, out there metallic,
Mm.
full sparkle paint.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, cool, man.
mainly solid ones. So,
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
favorite detailing tool or a product
Favorite detailing tool?
or wrap tool
Probably.
or whatever tool that you use.
Ah, what do I use more than anything? Look, honestly, it's probably the Shine Mate polishers, man. I love all the polishers I have from when I started are Shine Mate, and you just cannot. I've never used a Roops or a Rupes, however you want to say that one, but for the price difference, I just can't see what it would bring to the table more than the shine mates that I use, to the point where I've got their cordless, their rotaries, their 6 inch, 5 inch, 3 inch, whatever. I think that's probably the most reliable tool. As for favorite, I think it's the one I own the most variety of, or the most number of. But yeah, shine mate are very, very hard to beat. And
Cool.
as for chemicals or something like that, you get, oh, since I got introduced to AutoSmart, very, very difficult to beat, man.
Yeah.
I'm really loving the wheel acid at the moment. That thing's just an absolute weapon. And really not as feared. It shouldn't be as feared as it is, as long as you've got some
Mm.
common sense about it with every chemical. Um, it does the job very well. But I think Kosh Chemi or Koshemi, whatever they're called, VB, is their alkaline pre-wash. That's my favorite pre-wash, full stop. It's unbelievable. It foams up very well. I've tried it against like G101 and stuff, but it's way more expensive, but I always go back to Kosh Chemi VB. It's an incredible pre-wash. And through a foam cannon specifically is, even if you have a coating that repels foam a lot, VB um, tends to do a
Stick.
pretty good job in sticking to it. Yeah, it's very good with the surfactants in it of breaking the water tension. So regardless of how good the coating is, it'll still make the water flatten out over it. The only coating I've seen that still tries its best to repel that is Titan, Titan
Right.
coatings, which are, God, they're really good coatings, man. They just cost a bomb.
The rubber membrane. Yep.
Yeah, I've got that on the front end of my classic Mini, and it's an insane coating, man. It's absolutely incredible. But for the price of them, selling it at what price I have to keep here when I'm still expensive, it's just not feasible
Mm.
for me, unfortunately. But really unparalleled with anything else I've used, I have to admit.
That's cool. Um, Probably spoke a little bit about before a tip of detailer starting out.
Just do it. Just buy the minimal that you can. You don't need to get every single tool before I bought most of the tools that you don't need before I actually started, because I had my other job supplementing it. But get a polisher, even if it's a Tool Pro from Super Cheap. Most of the things you need on top of tools is common sense. Any DA is going to give you results as long as you use common sense. Any chemical will give you results if you use common sense. So if you've got the passion for it and you're thinking about it, just absolutely go ham, man. It's the best thing I ever did. I often think I get paid a lot less than I do than my 9 to 5, and I do a lot more hours and a lot more jobs, like your admin, your social media, your content creation. But I would absolutely not change anything about it. So if you're thinking about it, just ruddy well do it.
Absolutely. Interests outside of detailing, if you get any time off.
Oh, yeah, time off is not really a thing. Even when you're off, you're not really off. I've got a couple of dogs, man. I love spending time with dogs, and my fiance, they don't get enough time with me that as they should. So that's pretty much it. I enjoy my motorbikes. I go out on my bikes quite a bit. Just go cruising in the Mini, and then I watch a lot of motorsport as well, Formula One, MotoGP, stuff like that.
Ah.
Uh, yeah,
So yeah.
Finally.
well, it was mostly MotoGP until this year. I'm not too big a Marquez fan, but I was a big Rossi fan years ago, and then it was doing very well up until this year when I think Marquez has taken over a bit on the Ducati. But yeah, Formula One, watched that yesterday. Can't wait to next year. Good to see McLaren doing well.
Mm.
Spent a
Yeah,
lot
who
of
you
time doing
rooting
that.
for? You're a
Oh,
Norris fanboy or
I'd love Norris to win because of who he is, but at the same time, I have no qualms with Piastri. His consistency is too good, and he's also just a very, very level-headed fellow, which is, I think both of them are fantastic for the sport.
yeah.
And really, any of them winning is just top trumps for the sport, man. It's going to be great either way. Having McLaren back up there is brilliant as well. Um, and yeah, as long as it's yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Leclerc doing well, or Ferrari coming back into it in the next couple of years, maybe with next year's regs and whatever. But I think it's in a very good spot, that sport. And I think Liberty Media just took over MotoGP as well, so that's probably going to ramp up in the next 4 or 5 years, which will be very cool to see.
MotoGP is pretty cool. Like, I haven't been into it as much this year, but yeah, when you do sit down and watch their racing, it's epic racing. It's crazy.
Yeah, the last 3 years with Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin were just wild. So, so good, man. Marquez, unfortunately, for me, being a Rossi fan from years ago, Marquez's talent is just undeniable. And when
Yep.
he finally put him on the best bike, I think I haven't watched all of them this year, but I'm pretty sure he's comfortably in front in the championship.
Yep.
Which you can't take anything away from after everything he's been through with his injuries and whatever. God, he's a bloody good motorbike rider. Holy moly.
He just gets back up and back on it.
Generational talent, man. Nothing will stop him, and you have to just tip your hat off to him. It's incredible. Not the biggest fan of him, but I would never ever say I don't like him. He's very good for the sport as well. Spanish riders, like Spain is the biggest market for MotoGP by miles, so having a Spanish rider at the top again is very cool for it.
Massive.
And like I say, with Liberty Media taking over the M now, I believe they did.
Yeah, they did.
That should be very interesting to see. And they started last year or 2 years ago doing the sprint races every single weekend in the GP, and that really added to the spectacle as well. Their sprints are half race length.
Yep.
It really added to the whole championship as well. So really great sports. Love watching them when I get a chance, which unfortunately isn't live because we live around the world. But it's I'd love to get to the Aussie GP for Formula One and MotoGP at some point in the next couple of years. Go down to Phillip Island, go to Melbourne. That'll be really, really cool. And if it can be a business expense, then even better.
You just turn it into one.
I know.
So, oh, this has been awesome, mate. It's finally good to get you on. And
Yeah.
So
Yeah, thanks, guys. I've had a blast. I hope you guys have been okay with it, and I hope everyone listening makes it the whole way through. Look, if someone makes it through and says good job, Aaron, I'll be like, phew, that's a weight off my shoulders. If everyone turns off because they can't understand me or it's boring as heck, then well, so be it. That's the way it is.
yeah, no, it's been good. So, all right,
Yeah,
well,
so good.
yeah, how can anyone? Obviously, you got your website. You're big on Instagram. People can contact you.
Yeah, website, Instagram, email, Facebook, whatever. At our EDM Detailing is Instagram. That's where I'm at the most. And then obviously if a customer's listening, websites gives you the option of jobs and whatever. But anyone to reach out with any questions about anything, whether it be customers or other detailers looking for info or contacts, then by all means I'm here to help. That's the whole point of it all. I'll give as much info to everybody as I can so that they can take the next step in whatever they're doing.
No,
Awesome,
very
man.
good. All right, we better go and do a bit today. Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
Great.
Thanks heaps.
No, thanks, Aaron.
Thanks, Aaron.
And thanks
Cheers,
everyone
guys.
for listening. So, all right, cheers, guys. See ya.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
That was another episode of the Detailing Down Under podcast. Subscribe now for everything auto detailing in Australia.